One of the most important questions in current market condition is how to win in a multiple offer situation. Purchase offer is a legal document that outlines the terms and conditions under which a buyer is willing to buy the property. Believe it or not, in most cases in a multiple offer situation, the winning offer is not the one which has the highest price, but the one which has the terms and conditions most favorable to the seller. By terms and conditions, I mean financial terms as well as the closing date and as well as the conditions. By conditions, I mean contingencies. So, if the buyer is willing to offer a price much higher than the asking price, but if the bank doesn't think that it's worth that offered price, then the buyer may not be able to borrow that much money from the bank to make the offer price. The difference between the offer price and appraised value has to come out of the buyer's savings. So if the buyer doesn't have enough savings to cover this difference, then the deal will not go through. So this appraisal gap is a major factor affecting your winnability in the multiple offer situations. So if you have enough money to cover the appraisal gap, you are in a better shape. Another factor affecting the financial terms is your loan type you're taking. If you're going for a FHA or a VA loan, these loans can take longer days to close, and there could be some mandatory repairs that the sellers have to bear if the property doesn't meet the standards required by the FHA and the VA loans. So it's obvious that if you have a couple of offers, one with FHA and one with conventional, there is a high probability that the sellers will lean towards picking the one with conventional loan as long as the purchase price is comparable. You can make a financial term strong by providing a very strong pre-approval letter. And if you can go for conventional, well and good. Similarly, put down a good amount as your deposit, because deposit is a way to show your earnestness, your seriousness in procuring this property. And again, if you can make a higher down payment, it's so much better because you have a couple of offers at a similar price, but with one with a higher down payment, the seller is inclined to pick the one with higher down payment because it shows that the financial ability of the buyer. Contingencies are those conditions that have to be met by the buyer and the seller before the sale can finalize. So the usual conditions are a mortgage contingency. The buyer has certain time period before which he can secure a mortgage. If he cannot secure a mortgage, he can walk out of the deal. The most common other contingency is home inspection contingency. So if the buyer requests a professional inspection of your property and some repair items picked up by the inspection, the negotiation happens about how to take care of the repairs. And if the sellers and the buyers do not come to terms with respect to the repair for request, then the deal can fall through. If the findings of the inspection are major, like a structural damage or something very expensive to make repairs, then the buyer can also walk out of the deal. Next common contingency is a home sale contingency. So that means a new buyer of your property can only close on your property after getting their home sold, current home sold. That's because they have to get the money from their home sale to continue with the purchase of your property. The next common contingency is appraisal contingency. That means the buyer can make a condition that the property has to appraise for the purchase price. If not, they can renegotiate the price or even walk out of the contract. So the contingencies or conditions are actually anxiety inducing for a seller because these are the loopholes by which the buyers can get out of the contract. So as you can understand now that the sellers will look for offers with least contingencies because they want more certainty that the deal will go through. It's highly likely that if you are offering an all cash offer, which is comparable to the purchase offer price offered by another buyer relying on mortgage, it's likely that the cash offer will get accepted because that easily gets rid of one contingency, that is the mortgage contingency. Now, the last term which affects your winnability is the closing date terms. Closing date and possession days is very important to a seller because selling itself is a very stressful process. They're leaving their beloved home, they're leaving their memories, and they have to find a new place also. They have to pack up and move before the closing date. So, in case they have already found their new home, they closed down the new home and they have a place to move into, it's well and good. Let's say they have still not found a place to move into, then the buyers who offer them a flexible closing date, a longer closing date in that case, it'll be appropriate for the seller who has not found a place to move yet. In some other cases, if the buyer cannot offer a later closing date, offering something like a rent back to the sellers and sweeten this deal, and that can be the point which gets you the house.
Here are some insider tips to win among multiple offers. Be among the first offers to be submitted. Do not wait too long to make up your mind to submit an offer. Many times, if the seller receives a very good offer, too good to be refused, then they will accept the offer and sometimes cancel any further showings and do not entertain any more offers. So try to be the first to tour the home and try to get your offer submitted as soon as possible. Secondly, have a buyer's agent who is very proactive in communicating with the listing site. And third, get a local lender, get a underwritten pre-approval from the local lender who can vouch for your credibility and give more confidence to the seller. And last, you can give a copy of the deposit check attached with the offer to give even more confidence to the seller that you are very serious about getting this home under contract in your name. If you're considering a home sale or purchase in 2025, I invite you to reach out to me so I can learn about your unique needs. I can be reached at 860 479 2998.